Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's a Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. As far as Night Smackdown does go, I thought it was a better Smackdown than we had been getting. I actually enjoyed the Smackdown from start to finish. Thought this was a really good Smackdown, very easy to watch, flowed very well. Again, one of the better Smackdowns that we've gotten in the last couple of weeks, because Smackdowns have just been okay. They've just been there. All right, nothing super special to call home about, but I thought this one was better as far as it opened really hot with the Gunther, Nick, all this stuff. Then we had, the Nikki Bella return that got a good reaction from the live crowd. The Cody Rhodes CM Punk stuff was really good. The main event was a really well-worked main event. So, overall, I enjoyed this show and thought it did a number of good things leading up to SummerSlam and even next week's SmackDown, where we do know that we will be getting a double tag title match. Yes, you heard me right. Double tag title match. I think that was the only thing announced for next week's show. Chat, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see anything else announced other than Damian Priest and R-Truth against the War Raiders, WWE tag team titles, AAA titles, tag titles, all on the line in one match. I really wonder who wins that. With Priest already in AAA and doing stuff in AAA, if Priest and Truth, if either of them hadn't done anything in AAA, I would go, let's go War Raiders. Why not? But with Priest already being down there, I could see them winning. But at the same time, it's nah, give it to the War Raiders. They can use it more, and you can push Truth to something else, or Priest to something else, whether that's Dom's mega title in AAA or the US title or even the WWE championship on the main roster. So I'm intrigued by this one. Probably go to the bigger stars, the WWE tag team champions, but at the same time, I can't see it going either way. So we'll see how that all does go. But again, like I said, overall, I did think this was a pretty good SmackDown, a better SmackDown than we have been getting. But with all of that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. I got some smudges on these glasses where I can't focus right now. If you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either hit that donate button down below or donate Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us over on YouTube. Sorry, I saw something in the live chat that I'm like, no, you didn't hear. You know what? Screw it. We're going to get to it. Corey in the live chat says, heard that Bailey's going to jump to AEW sometime around. No. You might have heard that, but that's not the news right now because that's inaccurate right now. Is there a chance that Bayley leaves WWE and goes to AEW? Sure. But that's not been reported, and nobody knows that. Do some people in WWE expect her to leave? Yes. Do some people in AEW expect her to leave? Yes. Do some people in WWE expect her to stay? Yes. Do some people in AEW expect her not to come in there? Yes. That's because nobody knows what she's going to do because her contract is up in the fall, roughly October, November. And she has not yet to sign a new deal. But the thing to think with all of this as well, she has not signed a new deal. But we don't even know, because no report has come out on this, if she's even been offered that new deal yet. Because as we've seen in the TKO era, they'll wait till the month before, if not weeks before, to say, hey, here's the new deal we want to offer you. Here's what we can give you when your contract expires. So that's the other part of it. Yeah, people think she could leave and go to AEW, and it's very possible. But at the same time, people might think that because she hasn't signed a new deal, but then at the same time, we don't even know if she's been offered a new deal. So everything you see Bayley-wise right now is all rumor and innuendo, as Bruce Pritchard would like to say. Speculation up the goddamn wazoo, because nobody knows what's going on with goddamn Bayley. There's a lot of speculation. Mercedes is trying to, I guess you would say, fuel the fire. And honestly, I think Mercedes is trying to fuel the fire for her on both sides. Whether that is to get her into AEW, which I don't think she would need Mercedes help to get into AEW. She's Bayley. But at the same time, you have somebody from AEW that teases that there's interest, and that could lead to WWE maybe giving her a good deal to keep her from going there. Just saying. I mean, they offered Natty a pretty good new deal earlier this year, so she doesn't go to AEW because they didn't want Natty to go to AEW and win the Owen Cup. Now, it's different with Bayley, but still, if there's a thought in their head of, oh, we don't want her going to AEW, we'll give her a better deal, then we can go with that. So we'll see how it all does play out. But as of right now, nobody knows anything when it comes to Bayley. It's all speculation and what people think could happen, and they're really thinking both ways. Yeah, she can maybe leave. She'll probably stay. She'll probably go to AEW. She might not go to. It's all maybe this, maybe that. Rumor and innuendo, my guy. But again, like I said, with that, you can help us out over on YouTube at the subscribe button. That way you know when we go live, when we post new videos, when we post to the community tab. Also, remember that you can get our graphics packages, graphics tutorials, a badge next to your name, emotes and emojis, all if you just hit the join button and become a channel member. Really super simple and cheap to support us as a channel member as well. We really do appreciate all of that. And finally, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can donate a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting some of them new DC skins for the summer in Fortnite, whether that is Catwoman, Poison Ivy, or Harley Quinn in bikinis, or shirtless Batman. Use this code right here. Go to the store, go to the bottom. It's going to ask if you have a creator code, and you do. It is PWU NLIMITED. That's PWU NLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. And yes, Wayne, I'm a little excited that The Clash is returning to Daytona. Now, I say a little because here's the thing. How is it returning to Daytona? Is it going to be that Saturday night? Well, we know Jordan Bianchi reported, and now we're getting into NASCAR talk here for a second. We know Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic did report that NASCAR is expected to bring The Clash back to Daytona. It's going to be the first time that it's been at Daytona since 2021. If you don't know what The Clash is, it is NASCAR's preseason race. It hasn't been there since 2021 when they ran it on the Daytona road course, but it hasn't been on the oval since 2020. Now, here's the thing. I don't want just The Clash back. Oh, no, boy, no. I want Speed Weeks back. We need more than just The Clash. And I know because of Super Bowl and scheduling and all that, we're not going to get what the real Clash Speed Weeks should be. Because what NASCAR should be doing, and this is, I think, a Fox call, wanting the Daytona 500 the week after the Super Bowl, especially years that they have the Super Bowl. What it should be is, don't worry about the Super Bowl. You don't want to run anything the same day as the Super Bowl. So like the week after the Super Bowl, you start NASCAR preseason, which is just a week. What they should do is like they've always done. You do Saturday night, the Clash at Daytona. Sunday the next morning, you qualify for the Daytona 500. Then you give everybody Monday, Tuesday off to go and do whatever they need to prep for the week. Wednesday, you practice. Thursday, the Clash. And then you can do a practice on Friday. Maybe you don't do a practice on Friday. You do a happy hour practice on Saturday, a one final practice, a 30, 50-minute practice, whatever. To just tweak the last little things before the 500 and you're good to go. That's what we need back. Speed Week. Speed Week at Daytona. We don't need this bullshit of, we're going to go to LA. We're going to go to Bowman Gray, which the Bowman Gray races were great. We're going to go to Bowman Gray. We're going to run there. And then we'll go in 2 weeks. We'll give you more NASCAR stuff. No, when we get to preseason, fans don't want a week break. We don't want a break. We want a preseason race, go right into the season. So again, like I said, do it like it's always been. Saturday, Clash. Sunday, Daytona 500 qualifying. Wednesday, you have dual practice or Daytona 500 practice, however teams want to play it, whether they got a good qualifying spot and they go, oh, I got to worry about the duels. Or, oh, my car's not good. I need to get it good for a duel so I can get a better spot. Whatever. Okay. And then you can go in with the Friday practice, but we don't need a Friday practice. And you go in with the Saturday practice. Just one happy hour. They let everybody dial everything in. Good go. Sunday, Daytona 500. That's what it should be back. We need Speed Week back. We need Speed Week back. And what Jordan Bianchi also reported is that it might be a new big sponsor sponsoring the Clash. So we'll see how that all does go. But I assume it gets announced in a couple of weeks when they're back at Daytona. We do have a super chat here from a Red Sox Freak 92. Doomsday trailer was great. Are you hyped for it? Oh, buddy, am I ever. Are you ready for tomorrow? Because, oh boy, I can talk for hours from everything we've learned so far from Comic-Con, and we're going to learn a shit ton more tomorrow. So here's SmackDown's going to be an easy, quick review because, like, there was good stuff on the show, but it was like a quick and dirty show, to be honest. So it's like we can review the show pretty quick. So we're going to talk about some other stuff for a second. We're going to talk Marvel movies, more specifically Doomsday, and what we've learned from Comic-Con in the last 2 days so far. So we do know, and I'm not going to give any spoilers here for anything that could be happening in this movie. I'm not going to say anything like that, because if you know what they're adapting for Doomsday and Secret Wars, then there could be spoilers. Basically, they're adapting the Hickman run of Time Runs Out right into Secret Wars. And what time runs out is basically how do I explain this without spoiling it? Incursions are happening. Multiple universes could be ending. And Dr. Doom knows that this is his opportunity to potentially take over the multiverse and create his own world, universe, whatever you want to say. And in doing so, he's got, I guess we call them disciples. And that's not a spoiler because now we've seen at Comic-Con, we've got the Latverian witches. And interesting enough, every day at the Marvel booth, they've changed the color of the robe of the Latverian witch. First it was green, then it was purple, and then it was orange. Many think tomorrow it's going to be red. Question is, what do those colors represent? Purple could be Clea. Green or orange could be Strange. I think Strange is going to be one of these witches of Latveria. And then I don't know who the other one could be. And then if we get red, we're getting some sort of Scarlet Witch. But that's all hearsay speculation. But one last thing I want to talk about here. But the one last thing is Eric Voss of New Rockstar is at Comic-Con in San Diego and does have a press badge and press seat for the Marvel Hall H presentation tomorrow. Well, he was told by a very in-the-know source at Disney that Hall H seats like 6,000 people, but there is a press section that's got about 400 seats. Yet Marvel is actually only given out about 10-ish actual press seats. The rest are being reserved for VIP and people for those VIP, which means there might be a lot of big announcements tomorrow when it comes to Marvel and their Hall H announcement, whether that is more things for Doomsday, whether that is stuff for Secret Wars, which hopefully they don't announce too much for Secret Wars to then spoil Doomsday. But what they could be announcing is the next slate after Secret Wars. What are we getting? We know we're getting, who is doing it? Josh Schreier, I think his name is, doing X-Men, the same guy that did Thunderbolts. We know that there's going to be another Shang-Chi, most likely. Like they said they wanted to do a Shang-Chi sequel. We know Ryan Coogler is working on a third Black Panther movie and has said that he's writing a character for Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington has been spotted in San Diego this week, but has not done anything Comic-Con related yet. Ryan Reynolds is apparently possibly potentially in town. Is Hugh Jackman there? Are we going to get the announcement that Deadpool and Wolverine are in Doomsday? I'm excited. I'm excited for whatever Marvel is going to announce tomorrow. And with them putting out that trailer on Monday, I think that further tells us we're getting something big and new. Because if they didn't put the trailer out on Monday, then it would just be like, oh, they're going to show the trailer, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, we've got all these cast members for Spider-Man Brand New Day there as well. Are we going to get a big announcement of that? Just 5 days before that movie comes out, I will be seated in that theater Thursday evening. As soon as I get off work, I'm going to run home, grab Tyler, and we're jetting off to that theater, seeing that movie. And I'm going to have to stay off social media for a couple hours because I don't want anything spoiled for me. Granted, we know from the trailers and if you just know the story and where they're going, some of the things that are probably going to happen in Brand New Day. But then at the same time, you got goddamn Tom Holland over here going, Jean Grey is not in this movie. Well, what do you mean Jean Grey's not in this movie? Then who's Sadie Sink playing? Oh, are you just not calling her Jean Grey? Is she the Phoenix? Has she got some other name that you're calling her, but she is Jean Grey? I don't know. K-Bauer says Deadpool and Wolverine team up. They already did team up in the movie Deadpool and Wolverine. But I don't want to spoil it. I can say something right now that I think is going to happen, but it'd be a big spoiler. Like a really big spoiler for another character that could be dying at the start of Doomsday because of an incursion in a world-ending incursion. But I'm not going to say too much more. Red Sox fan, thank you for the super chat. It says, are you seeing Brand New Day opening weekend? I'm seeing it opening day. We can go Thursday. I'm going Thursday. Like, I'm going to be there. I might even leave work early. I'll tell you that right now because I can do that. So it's just, I'll leave early on Friday or Thursday. Just stay late on Friday or go in early on Friday. But telling me to do a Hall H live stream tomorrow? Hall H is not live streamed. They've never live streamed the Hall H panel for Marvel. I don't know. I have some stuff to do this weekend, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to just sit here for an hour and do a live stream. Maybe. We'll see. It is 7:30 my time because it's 5:30 local. So maybe. We'll see. But I'm pumped for whatever this is going to be. Because hearing what Eric Voss reported today and trusting him with his sources and everything, he said there's going to be like 300 and something people in that press section that are considered VIPs, or they're with VIPs like family or publicists and stuff. So if, say, a Denzel Washington gets officially announced for Black Panther 3, his publicist is going to be there to gather any information that they need to then put out a press release or put out social media stuff and this, that, and whatnot to say, hey, yes. Here we go. Blade, not officially canceled yet. If you listen to what Kevin Feige said, he said, felt great to get Wesley Snipes back for Deadpool and Wolverine. Doesn't feel good that we haven't got anything going with Mahershala Ali yet. Didn't say it was canceled. Did not say that Blade was canceled. He just said that he feels bad that everything is stalled out and it's taken so long and nothing's really been developed for that movie, even though they do have Mahershala Ali, I guess you would say, signed on for it. And there is the rumor, and I don't know if this is something that's going to happen, but there is the rumor that instead of doing a Blade movie, they do a Midnight Suns movie instead. And if you ask what is Midnight Suns is a bunch of Marvel characters coming together, like a Doctor Strange, like a Blade, like Ghost Rider, I want to say. Who's all the Marvel Sons? Hold on. Midnight Suns, I mean. I think what's his name? Moon Knight is part of the Midnight Suns as well. I know in the PlayStation game, well, it wasn't just PlayStation, but the video game, they also had like Wolverine and Iron Man in there. Jean Grey was part of the Midnight Suns in the game. a version of Spider-Man, but they're not normally the Midnight Suns. It's more of like the darker characters and the witches and wizards and stuff. Scarlet Witch, not Jean Grey. My bad. I had to think for a second. Not Jean Grey. It was Scarlet Witch, which she is normally a Midnight Sun. So, yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm pumped. I can't wait to see what we get tomorrow announced by Marvel and Kevin Feige and his people. And, you know, do we get a casting announcement for X-Men? Does Jake Schreier come out and go, yes, Sadie Sink is my Jean Grey. Here's my Cyclops. Here's my Storm. Here's the new Professor Xavier. Here's Magnus, Eric Magneto, and whoever else they're going to have. Because that's the other question. Who's the new X-Men lineup? They've already confirmed we're getting that X-Men movie because the next sequel, the next saga is the Mutant Saga. But the question is, what lineup are they going with as far as the X-Men? I assume you get a Jean Grey and a Cyclops. Do we get a new Wolverine? I don't know. Do we get I assume we get a new Storm. And then we go, okay, a Beast, a Gambit, a Nightcrawler. Then you go on the opposite side, a Sabretooth, a Magneto, a Mystique. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Ooh, I can't wait. My mind's been just swirling for the last day or two of like, what the crap could we be getting in this announcement in this Hall H trailer or the presentation tomorrow? That's only supposed to be an hour. The last one they did, I believe, was like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, Messi says Cloak and Dagger. We've seen Cloak and Dagger. I think they had a TV show that was on like Freeform, I believe. I want to say it was on Freeform. It was Aubrey Joseph and Olivia Holt. They were Cloak and Dagger in that show, and it only ran for one season, and it wasn't really good. Like, it was okay, but it wasn't all that great. Like, it was a 7 out of 10 at best. At best. So, yeah. But enough Marvel talk. Maybe we'll do, like I said, maybe we'll do a stream tomorrow. I don't know. It just depends on everything going forward. A Deadpool of Ryan Reynolds continue to play. Ryan Reynolds is never not going to be Deadpool. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's going to be a character that they're not recasting. Ryan Reynolds is just always going to be Deadpool till he can't be Deadpool no more. That's the one they're not going to recast. And even Kevin Feige said we're not doing a full like reboot of the MCU. It's more of a soft reboot with like the X-Men are going to get rebooted, but we're going to keep Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I assume. We're probably going to keep more Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth. I don't want to say it, but Tom Hiddleston, you done, because I think Loki dies at the end, if not in the middle of Doomsday. Because if you know, you know. But yeah, gonna be wild. Yes, Clayface comes out in October. That was announced a long time ago. Heard that Clayface is going to be out in October. Yeah, that was announced a long time ago, and they just released a new trailer this week as well. But as far as Smackdown does go, we got a recap of the weekend events from Saturday night's main event and Fanatics Fest. And then the Raw general manager, Adam Pearce, was in the ring. We saw that Nick Aldis was in the ring with them. They brought out Gunther. They wanted to sign the contract for Nick Aldis versus Gunther at SummerSlam. First, welcome to everybody to the show. Discuss the terms and stipulations of signing this contract and what it really means. With that in mind, Pierce introduces Gunther to come down to the ring. Gunther got into the ring. Pierce mentioned that there are certain stipulations to be made here. For instance, once Aldis signs the contract, he would no longer be serving as a SmackDown general manager because an authority figure cannot also be a wrestler, so he must give up his authority. Now, they didn't state if that means Nick Aldis is no longer a SmackDown GM at all, or just from now to SummerSlam and he gets the GM spot back when SummerSlam's over. They didn't, I don't think, do a good enough job to explain that. So is it just Nick Aldis is now a superstar and not a wrestler? Or not a GM anymore at all? I assume it's the latter. Or the former, I mean. And once SummerSlam's over, he's just back to SmackDown GM. Because he's great at SmackDown GM. Like, I think Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, and this is going to be a controversial take, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce may be the best GM duo we've ever seen in WWE, as far as like just both being so great in the roles. Now, I know a lot of people are going to have that nostalgia. Stephanie and Eric Bischoff. Teddy Long and I think it was Eric Bischoff still running Raw. But then you had Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley with Shane and Stephanie. So, I mean, you can have your favorite GMs, but I'm saying right now, in my opinion, I don't think we've ever had a stronger set of general managers than Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. So Aldis responds to this, stating that he's ready to accept the circumstances and the consequences of his actions and will be relinquishing his duties as SmackDown GM. And again, I think temporarily. And he signs the contract stating that, yes, he hasn't had a match in a couple of years, but he's ready for this. Gunther tries to talk and his mic keeps cutting in and out. Gunther said that this would be the greatest match of Aldis's career, but he's wasting his time here. He should be chasing the championship. Instead, he's got to fight a man that can't do his own job. Gunther then actually tells everybody, because some people probably don't know, he goes, yeah, I know you're a former NWA World Champion, but that means nothing to me. He said that Aldis is jealous of Gunther. He notes how Aldis was dreaming of something bigger in WWE, but instead had to watch Gunther walk in and win titles, earn all the records and accolades, and make millions of dollars. Gunther talked about how he was able to fulfill his dream by signing the SmackDown contract, by making him join a list of legends that are stupid enough to face him and lose to him and end their careers chasing that one last moment, like John Cena, Goldberg, and AJ Styles. After Gunther then threw the mic at Aldis, the now temporarily former, not quite at the moment GM, responds. He said the reason that Gunther kept saying all this was because Gunther needs to tell himself he's this good. He needs to keep reassuring himself for his own insecurities. Aldis declared that Gunther didn't even want any of this anyways, because he was the one who put his career in jeopardy. Aldis said that he had nothing to lose at SummerSlam, and Gunther would be the one coming up short and looking like a little bitch losing to his boss. This then led to Gunther and Aldis brawling. Gunther eventually hit Aldis with a low blow and powerbombed him through the table. I thought this was good. I thought this was solid. I thought both men's mic work here was fantastic. And then the little brawl was cool. Whatever. But yeah, I like this. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very solid segment building up towards SummerSlam. We go to a break. When we come back, they send it to Kathy Kelly, who was in front of the trainer's room saying, hey, we're going to get an update on Nick Aldis. And then the camera cuts. Not really cuts, but swings to the side. And she's like, Sammy, what are you doing? He's like, Kathy, all respect, out. Get out of here. I need to talk. And he starts ranting about how, you know, what did he say, 18 days ago or so? He was the champion. He was the undisputed WWE champion. And he, in his eyes, got screwed out of that basically immediately after winning it. Forced to defend it on a show that, well, he doesn't even work on. A show that title doesn't even represent. Zayn was enraged that he has to now sit on the bench for SummerSlam while others are just given opportunities. Adam Pearce then shows up, going into the trainer room to check on Nick Aldis, and Sami Zayn goes, I need to talk to you. You ain't going in there. Talk to me now. Add me to the WWE Championship match. Make it a fatal four-way. I got screwed at Saturday Night's main event because Nick. And Aldis is like, no. The stip was, you get added if you win. You didn't win. It's CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. It's not a triple threat. He said, but I will give you an opportunity at SummerSlam. An opportunity to earn an opportunity at the title. He said, tonight, we're going to have a fatal four-way with Damian Priest, Royce Keys, Finn Balor, and Trick Williams. The winner of that match will then move on to SummerSlam to face you in a number one contenders match. Sammy's like, well, they got to earn it. And I just go to SummerSlam and got to beat one of them. He's like, that's what I said. He's like, all right, fine, that'll do. But I'm getting back my title. So basically it was Sami Zayn, the former champion who didn't get his rematch, will be getting a number one contenders match. And I'm going to say this right now. I long for the days of number one contender matches. It's been so long since, a pay-per-view would have the world title match, but at the same time, on the same pay-per-view, we'd have the number one contenders match to then build towards that next pay-per-view, coming out of the pay-per-view, knowing who the next challenger is for the next pay-per-view already. I love that shit that we got in the 90s and early 2000s, where it was, I don't know, I'm just going to throw some names out here. Stone Cold defending the title against The Undertaker. But then Kurt Angle beats, I don't know, Jericho on the same show to become number one contender. So then coming out of a Backlash pay-per-view, where I'm just throwing names and numbers out here, whatever. We then know coming out of that pay-per-view, Stone Cold's the champion. The new number one contender is Kurt Angle. And now we got 4 weeks to build up Kurt Angle challenging Stone Cold for the title. Those are just names thrown, whatever. But back in the 90s and early 2000s, that's the way they used to do it a lot. Where you would come out of a pay-per-view, champion, either new champion or retained, you already know who the number one contender is because you had a important number one contender match on the show. Yes, it wasn't a title match, and everyone says title matches mean the most, but it was a match to get a title match, so it was almost just as important. But I also long for the days of, if you're not going to do the number one contender match, I just miss goddamn number one contender matches overall. We don't get enough. There's too much of, oh, you've won a couple matches over the last month. Let's just give you a shot. No, I miss number one contender matches where it's like, this guy's been on a run. This guy's been on a run. Now they're going to face off in a number one contenders match. Or like they did for the IC title, let's do a gauntlet match with just a number of guys in the division. That's fine. That's good. I just love the day of people actually, granted, it's scripted, but guys earning it, if you know what I mean. Again, earning their title shot, not say win like Cody and Punk. I can rant on that for a while. Trust me. So moving forward, Brie Bella was in action. She took on one half of the new tag team champions, Lainey Reed. For the match, Fatal Influence cut a promo. Basically, they were just like, yeah, we're going to have all the gold soon. But we got screwed. Well, JC got screwed. We got the tag titles. JC should be in the ladder match, but that's not happening. So then JC said, Tiffany, you beat me, but I still think I'm better than you, so I want to challenge you in the future for your United States Championship. Well, now there's 2 women that want to come after the United States Championship, because as we learn later, Blake Monroe also wants to go after the United States Championship. Also, according to, I want to say it was WrestleVotes yesterday, originally, before they were doing the ladder match, the Tiffany Stratton title defense was going to be against Blake Monroe. The SummerSlam match was going to be Women's U.S. title, Tiffany defending against Blake. That was the plan before everything had to be shuffled and switched around for Rhea's injury, and then they came up with the 5-woman ladder match. Anyways, as far as the match does go, Brie Bella versus Lainey Reed. Before the bell could ring, Brie and Lainey started brawling on the outside. The match eventually does get underway. Brie cracked Lainey with a knee to the face and then thrown into the turnbuckle. Lainey took advantage by slamming Brie's face into the turnbuckle. He followed this up by a leaping cutter as she took her time here, kind of just like methodically taking the offense, I guess you would say, to Brie Bella. After a commercial break, Brie just wrapped with hitting the Bryan Danielson yes kicks on Lainey. So we saw the end of them, like the last 2 kicks or so. I don't know why I didn't save that till the actual broadcast or whatever. But anyways, Lainey tried to get back into things, but a bulldog from Brie put her right back down. Fallon Henley then tried to get involved as Brie headed up top, but she was kicked down. However, this gave Lainey Reed enough time to get in position and superplex Brie Bella. JC Jane then attempted to get involved as well, but Paige dispatched of her. Laney then tried to get the rope assisted pin, but the referee saw it and stopped her. Brie turned that into a pinning combination and pinned her 1, 2, 3. So the match ends. Brie Bella wins, and you go, all right, we're just going to get that rematch at SummerSlam. Brie and Paige versus Fatal Influence for the tag titles. Maybe next week on SmackDown, if not SummerSlam. That's not what we got. Fatal Influence, 3-on-2, attack Brie and Paige. They're beating them down. They got the advantage, and all of a sudden, who comes out? The returning from injury, Nikki Bella. You can look, but you can't touch. Nikki Bella runs down to the ring, helps dispatch a Fatal Influence, then grabs the mic. She says, good on you guys for winning the tag titles, but you've got something that doesn't belong to you. These girls want their titles back, but I'm also back. So how about at SummerSlam, 6-woman tag, us 3 versus you 3? And basically, that was Nikki saying, I already got the match made. It's official. Because they immediately go to the back and they're like, oh, man, I can't wait to see that match at SummerSlam, telling us it's official. So, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, and Paige taking on the Fatal Influences, JC Jane, Laney Reed, and Fallon Henley. Match is official for SummerSlam. All this was okay. It was cool to see the return of Nikki Bella. She's been out since WrestleMania, right before WrestleMania with the injury, and we had heard that she could be back sometime soon, but it wasn't confirmed for SummerSlam. But now we know it's for SummerSlam. Finn Balor is interviewed in the back by Kathy Kelly. He addresses the Fatal 4-Way later tonight, but Gunther interrupts him to talk some trash and then goes, hey, whether it's Punk, whether they basically spoiled what's going to come after SummerSlam. Because, like, he said, whether it's Punk, whether it's Cody or you, I get next to the title. I'm coming back for the WWE Championship. And so it's like, oh, Finn's beating Sammy. Did they just tell us Finn's beating? Did they super foreshadow and tell us Finn's beating Sammy? And then Finn is going to challenge either Cody or Punk, whoever comes out of the SummerSlam match with the belt? I don't know. Do we really need to beat Sammy again in a big match? Like, I know the big plan is Sammy wins the title in Saudi next year at Mania. Like, Sammy getting coronated at Mania in Saudi. But it's like, they want to do the Daniel Bryan thing where it's like he keeps getting screwed. And if you remember, Daniel Bryan beat John Cena at SummerSlam for the title, immediately cashed in on by Randy Orton. Screwed. Triple H helped. Screw him. He goes on. He has a couple wins, but nothing big. And then gets, loses some more matches. And they keep calling him a B-plus player. And just saying he's not good enough. And blah, 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 blah. And then eventually he fights his way back, gets the match at WrestleMania, wins the title, all of this. Big guy. Anyways, that's what they're trying to do with Sami Zayn. They've tried to do it before, but now they're really doing it, I feel like. Like, they're really doing the Daniel Bryan 2016 story. No, 14-15 story. No. 13 to 15. No, my years are all mixed up. 13 to 14 story. That's what they're doing. Coming out of SummerSlam 13 into Mania 30 and 14. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. Messi says there's a September pay-per-view after SummerSlam. No, but there is a Saturday night's main event. There's not a actual PLE after SummerSlam until October. Early October, I think it is. With Money in the Bank, where Money in the Bank was supposed to be in September and got pushed back. Orton's just been off. I don't know what's going on with Orton. No one really knows. He's just got time off. Mr. The Spot says they didn't make their return, bruh. You talking about Enzo and Cass? Well, we don't know about Enzo, but Cass ain't supposed to show up till the 3rd. Well, I don't know what you mean by they didn't make their return, bro. Were you trying to say that I said something that didn't happen? Because I didn't. I said Cass will be on the Raw on the 3rd, because that's what all the videos have been saying, and we haven't seen Enzo. I don't know what's going on with that. But we're at least getting Big Cass on August 3rd, Raw. I never said anything otherwise, other than they were both expected to come back. Getting Cass? I don't know what the Enzo story side is. Then we get a Panda Express sponsored recap of the Bloodline stuff from recently, and it's just a whole mess of stuff. We go backstage. Royce Keys was being hyped up by Solo Sikoa about their 6-man, but also his match tonight. Keys then talked about how he was locked in tonight to become the new number 1 contender, and then someone goes, "Why are you putting Royce Keys in this match to get a SummerSlam match? He already has a SummerSlam match." Well, it's a 2-night SummerSlam, so he could work both nights. He wasn't going to win anyways, but the theory, or the theory, not the theory, but the logicality is he could have worked both nights. You have the Sammy match on one night and the 6-man tag on the other. Messi says, "I heard Enzo is going to NXT. You heard from who? You heard from what?" All we know about Enzo was that about 3 weeks ago, he was at the PC. That doesn't mean anything. LA Knight then comes up and goes, "Why are you worried about this? We got a match at SummerSlam that you need to be worried about." He's like, "Hey, I'm not worried about any of this. I'm not worried about the Bloodline. I'm not worried about anything other than going out there and becoming number 1 or getting the shot to be in the number 1 contender match." And he's like, "You don't worry about the Bloodline. Show us we worry about the Bloodline." Blah, blah, blah. And Solo's like, "Hey, it's all good. I got your back. You just worry about what you got to worry about." So it was a show that, Solo's trying to play nice, but LA Knight's just like, we got a match. Focus on this. I'll care about all your other shit. So then elsewhere, Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton were chatting. I guess they're buddy-buddy now after Tiffany really didn't want to be Chelsea's friend. She's hyping Chelsea up, talking about how, Chelsea's going to qualify for the ladder match. They're both going to be in the ladder match. And then Chelsea's like, "Yeah, but remember last time we were in a ladder match and you won it? How about I win this time?" And Tiffany's just like, "But doesn't Tiffany 2 titles just sound so good?" Chelsea then leaves to go for her match. Blake Monroe shows up. And, she just says some stuff about, "I'm going to challenge you for your belt." Basically is what it was. So we had Kiana James versus Chelsea Green. This match, I want to know. I don't have a time. Well, let me see. This match fell short as shit. Cage match have a time yet? Do we have a time for this match on Cage match? This match felt like it was like maybe 5 minutes. Chelsea Green, Smackdown. No, this has not been added to her Cage match yet. And no time. Because I don't know how long this match went. Because it felt like it was less than 5 minutes. Like this match, I got like a paragraph and a half of notes. If that. So we get underway with the match. Kiana James misses the clothesline to the corner. Green responds with a slap to the face. There's a drop kick by Green that sent James to the ground. But her attempted suicide dive was stopped with a punch to the face. They're fighting on the outside. And at one point, Green tried to fight back with some strikes and avoided an elbow from James back in the ring. Green then slammed James down onto the ground as she followed this up with a pair of arm drags and a Russian leg sweep. Goes for a Rough Rider. And when James nearly had the match won to kind of get the momentum back in Chelsea's favor. There was an Unpretty Her attempted by Green, but James escaped and hit her with a super kick. There was a Falcon Arrow from James that wasn't enough to keep Green down, who kicked out at 2. James then missed a big boot, which then basically got her a code breaker. Green escaped James' grasp, connected with an Unpretty Her, and pinned her 1, 2, 3. Again, the match felt like it was 5 minutes max, if that. But Chelsea Green has now qualified for the interim championship ladder match, the interim women's championship ladder match at SummerSlam. Should be an interesting one. We'll talk later. They did the exact bullshit that I thought they were going to do with Charlotte. We got one spot. Oh, we'll just say it. Charlotte and I are having a match. Jade gets involved. Jade fucking causes the DQ. Charlotte's in the ladder match. Nia's pissed again. I'm pretty sure Nia's getting this last spot. R-Truth and Damian Priest were in the back. Cody Rhodes then shows up and was like, "Hey, what's going on? The boys." And Priest is like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing." He's like, "Hey, I used to be one of the boys." He's like, "Us boys, we're tired of seeing all the same people at the top. Tired of you guys always being the face of everything and getting all the opportunities." And Cody's like, "I get it. I used to be one of the boys as well. But how about after SummerSlam, me and my boy team up and we challenge you?" So it's like Cody thinks him and Punk are cool, but they're not, I guess. I don't know. It's a little weird, but the segment was great that we got later with them. Basically, Cody was just like, "Hey, maybe me and Punk challenge you guys for the titles if you still got the titles after next week." Okay. I don't know. But as far as CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, as far as CM Punk and Cody Rhodes does go, Rhodes comes down first. I wrote this very weird. And he has there's a mixed reaction from the crowd here in Oakland, California, where he says, Oakland, what do you want to talk about? He got right to it and says, you know what? I'm not even going to be out here by myself. Let's just, Punk, come out here. So Punk comes out, huge positive reaction, unlike Cody's mixed reaction. Punk removes his jacket and the undisputed title belt and got in Rhodes' face after he to hand him a mic and dropped the mic. Punk thought maybe Cody did that intentionally, on purpose. Cody goes, ooh, my bad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drop the mic. So that's not what I meant. And Punk went and grabbed another microphone and said that it's sad that this is what has happened between the two of them. Friends as close as brothers. Or I'm sitting here going, are they? I've never heard this before, this storyline. But anyways, he says Rhodes is acting kind of paranoid. Punk talked about how he didn't want the undisputed title match, but got it and won it. He didn't want the title to come between him and Cody, but now it has. Cody then talks and says that it can be true that he respects Punk. It can be true. He also doesn't like Punk. He talked about Punk's 2011 pipe bomb, something that Rhodes kind of followed himself, quote, to a T, declaring that he dropped a nuke on the business when he left WWE. He said fans were wishing that everything he did outside this company was actually Punk instead of him. Basically, they would have wanted Punk to leave, go run the indies, help start AEW and so forth, which there's an AEW reference here in a second that doesn't get mentioned, but you know when you know. Rhodes said that he went from that one that knocks to the one they knock for. And it was a list of one. He talked about how he stood in the ring with the best of the roster and that he didn't sweat any of them. Well, except Punk. Rhodes talked about that for this story to have the proper ending, he must beat Punk at SummerSlam. Quote, you don't like me. Or Punk says, quote, you don't like me? Or is you don't like that I'm the champion? Punk talked about how Rhodes was smart enough to pay attention about how things were going for him. But the question of whether Rhodes did it better than Punk did, that's the question the fans will ask, and how history decides to book it. He said in 2022, I did kind of follow your playbook. Looked outside of this company to get myself back. Basically saying, yeah, I went to AEW like you, and it got me here, back here. He's like, you showed me the way. You showed me how to get back here in the top spot. Punk said that Rhodes was lying to himself, saying that he didn't like it. Punk said that Rhodes couldn't handle the pressure of taking the title from someone that he loves as a friend, and that he had to consistently make himself the victim of all of this. Basically referencing the Randy Orton stuff from Mania as well. Punk told Rhodes that he was going to stab him right in front of him at SummerSlam. Stab his friend in the heart, basically. Punk declared that he's going to break Rhodes' heart in Minneapolis. Rhodes then discussed how he and Punk were going to team up on the house show loop next week, and he's got a gift that he wants to give to CM Punk next week as well. Punk responds by saying, yeah, I got a gift for you as well. It's called The Disappointment of a Loss, which was fitting for, quote, Dusty's kid. Just as Punk was leaving, Rhodes stopped them and said, my theme, Kingdom, is going to play, and I want you to hear that, because that's also what you're going to hear next week when I beat you for that title. Play it. Kingdom plays and the segment ends. It's pretty good. A little long, but pretty dang good. They rambled there at the end, kind of just like saying the same things over. But, I mean, it could have been like 2 minutes shorter and it would have been perfect. So, like, I can't say it was a perfect segment, but it was pretty good. It was really good. But I think their match at SummerSlam Whether that's the night one main event or the night two main event, where at this point it should be the night two main event. It's going to be probably a banger. So next up, we're going to SummerSlam. We had a women's ladder match, qualifying match with Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax. Now, this match did go longer than Jade Cargill and Nia Jax, but still had the same bullshit finish. Honorable tie-up, which then led to Flair getting kicked in the gut by Jax. Got shoved into the corner, and Jax drove her shoulder into Flair. Flair recovered and hit a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. She then delivered some shoulder strikes of her own. After a commercial break, Flair stepped over Jax and looked for a high-risk move. Jax recovered and pulled her down off the ropes. She then headed up top for a big leg drop, but Flair kicked out at 2. Jax looked for an annihilator, but Flair got up and countered, delivering a huge powerbomb to Nia Jax. Like, not just pulled her off the ropes, slammed her down. Pulled her off the ropes, held her up, stood there for a second, 1 step, 2 step, all into the powerbomb. Powerful, big powerbomb. Only got a 2 off of it, though. Flair then got up and looked for the big moonsault again. Jade Cargill and the baddies would run down to cause interference. Flair was then thrown to the outside by Jax. She then got into it with B-Fab and Meechin, where she threw Meechin into this barricade so hard that the whole barricade moved. And even Joe Test was like, oh, man. Or maybe it was Wade, but one of them were like, Meechin got thrown into the barricade so hard and moved a foot. So Charlotte eventually gets back into the ring. She's going at it with Nia. She ducks a clothesline. Her and Jade then meet on the apron because Jade climbed up on the apron and they both kind of clock each other. Nia then goes for something in the ring. Cargill gets in and just punches Charlotte and causes a DQ. So Charlotte technically wins and advances to the ladder match. Like, what the fuck bullshit, stupid ass shit is this? Dumb. You should not get attacked by somebody else and just, oh, well, you're in the title match now. Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Oh, and then the baddies beat Charlotte down afterwards. Nia got all pissed off and threw a fit at ringside, which she should be pissed off. Like, fuck. It's main event time. We got a 4-way. Winner faces Sammy in a number 1 contenders match at SummerSlam. It's Damian Priest, Trick Williams, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor. It was a really good main event. It was a really, really good 4-way main event. The Keys hit Balor and Priest with a clothesline early on to start things off. There were some suplexes and follow-away slams aplenty. And all 4 men were really going at it when we go to a commercial break. About a minute in. Back to the match. After a break, Balor countered Keys into a final cut neck breaker. Priest then stepped into the ring and hit Balor with a big boot. He then dropped Williams with a flatliner. There's a big splash by Priest in the corner to Keys. Williams then got up and hit a huge flapjack on Balor, but not before jumping neck breaker on Priest. Williams then put the lemon pepper steppers to work. He was stomping in Balor and Keys. Priest then interrupted it. Everyone but Balor then kind of, was thrown over the top rope, and then Balor jumped onto all of them with the big over-the-top splash. Solo then made his way down to the ring, and, we go to a break. After the break, Williams hit a bookend on Keys, went for the cover, but Solo put Keys' foot on the ropes. Now, it's 4-way, so it's no DQ, so none of it matters anyways. This prompted the Usos to show up and brawl it out with Solo. LA Knight then ran down, snuck up on Jimmy and Jay as Sikoa joined in on the brawl. Back in the ring, Priest scaled the ropes and hit a big crossbody on the brawling Usos, Knight and Sikoa. So for somebody that always says, don't get involved in other people's bullshit, he got involved in other people's bullshit. Williams then threw him out as Balor got him with a drop kick. Balor then missed a coup de grace. Williams then hit the big kick. Trick then went for a trick shot knee, but it was intercepted by Priest where he lifted Williams up for South of Heaven. Priest then covered, but it was interrupted by Keys, who slammed him down with an ultimate looking spine buster. And then things get all kinds of convoluted. Royce Keys gets thrown out of the ring, and then Jacob Fatu shows up, pulling him. He pulled him out of the ring. He assaulted him, put him up against the barricade, crushed him with a running hip attack into the barricade. Back in the ring, it's Balor and Priest going at it. I have no fucking clue what happened to Trick. Trick just disappeared. Balor hits Priest with a shotgun dropkick, coup de grace, and pins him 1, 2, 3. Again, a bunch of bullshit happened in that last 2-3 minutes, and I have no clue what happened to Trick Williams. I guess he took us out to heaven and was just dead for the rest of it. But with that, Sami Zayn wins and will now face, Finn Balor wins and will now face Sami Zayn at SummerSlam in a number one contenders match for the undisputed WWE Championship, which, holy crap, if they just let them go out there and have a banger, they're going to have a hell of a banger. Finn and Sami, that match should be phenomenal. Fantastic. We'll see where it all does go. But that was SmackDown. Good, easy to watch show. And with that, you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Friday Night SmackDown as we go and check the polls. As far as the Threads poll does go. 70% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter poll, 50% liked the show, 37% didn't like the show, and 12% thought it was just all right. Looking at the community poll, 77% liked the show, 14% thought it was just all right, and 9% didn't like it. Finally, as far as the live poll does go, 68% liked the show, 20% thought it was just all right, and 12% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. I don't know if we're going to do anything tomorrow, any live stream or whatnot, but I will be back here on Sunday for AEW Redemption. With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.